There are two things I like about buying low-cap gems and one thing I really hate about crypto. 1. Low-cap gems can make you rich. 2. Low-cap gems are easy on the wallet. But crypto can cause your hard-earned money to disappear faster than a speeding bullet. In this video, let's talk about how to find your gems and how to structure your gains portfolio with your crypto consigning you have learned from me, Money Sage, the cash flow bender. Hey, what's up? Money Sage here. Man, I just love money. Real money, that is. But don't get it twisted, I'm not greedy for money. Money gives me the luxury of placing value on things I really care about. My health, my knowledge. I could buy audiobooks for days. My family's well-being, my gorgeous and spectacular home, my vroom vrooms. What else? Oh, I never let money get in my way of being honorable. That's where money and I draw the line. And that's how we keep an ongoing and healthy relationship. We do get risky, but that's it. Well, enough about me. Let's talk about money.
And so that's why I use the punctuation in my name at the beginning, because I'm claiming the noun to not allow subjective interpretation for people to now put a spin or now move you into the admiralty of trying to control what the value of that word means.
Right. Yes, I see. So, I mean, we see that when we get our bills here in the UK, and I dare say it's in other places as well, all in capitalization. And we've been learning that actually is not really our name. It's hieroglyphics, or it's something other than our name.
Yes, it's a straw man based upon the birth certificate system. And the birth certificate system is part of the corporate lies, right? This is part of this corporate structure. You got to be born in a hospital, and then they issue a birth certificate, and that birth certificate, has all these hieroglyphics and all these funny symbols on there, and then you have to take that in order to continue your voyages to go into the doctor or go into your elementary schools or your preschools. That is your shipping maritime contract to now identify yourself through this straw man system that's been put in place. And that straw man system, the ultimate controlling arm is for your shipping, for your navigation. So what I did is I restructured that on planet Earth, disqualifying the head of the shipping organizations all over planet Earth, such as the International Maritime Organization for contracts, the Universal Postal Union in Bern, Switzerland, which is an umbrella corporation for all countries' post offices who are in joinder with that concept.
I totally understand what you're saying. The average person, again, will go, whoa, all I know is that they're using words against me and I need to learn a better way to stand up for myself through this grammar. Now you're talking about other post offices and a hierarchy of control system. I want to let's. That's all the stuff I'd love to hear. Personally, let's dive into it. I will sit down and I will write an algorithm in my head and that will make all sense to me. But to the average person, Russell, I think you're very, 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 very smart. And I personally need to figure out a way to get this stuff back down to the basics so the average person can stand up for their rights in this system. Yeah. You and I know what happened. We know that throughout the course of the history of the world, there have been ruling families, just call them families, ruling families that have taken sovereignty and freedom away from the people in the form of all kinds of isms or ocracies or any type of way of governing people. And through those ways, they've manipulated through words and sentence structures and contracts. And what you have built is something that bypasses all of that, gets down to the basic, simple thing of, I am a free, sovereign individual on this earth, and you can't force me to do anything against my will, period.
Convertible bond, I have a 1 hour phone call. I'm like, okay, this is the bond, this is what we're gonna do. Okay, they buy 800 million of it at the end of the day. Okay, why? It's like, they have the money, they have to buy a convertible bond. They can't, they're like, why don't they buy Bitcoin? They can't. Why don't they buy your equity? They can't. They need to buy there's a phrase in Wall Street, if the ducks are quacking, feed the ducks. They want that. There's another group of people, they want equity in a public company. They can't buy the spot ETF. They can't. It's against their charter. They get fired. They just can't. Why don't they? Well, you're questioning the world, right? I mean, at the end of the day, the world is made up of huge pools of capital, and it might have taken 20 years to raise the money. Now I got to spend the money. So if you are the entrepreneur, my general message is you can create a security that a capitalist can then use to get Bitcoin exposure. And if you're public, you sell public equity or debt and buy Bitcoin. And if you're private, you'll sell private equity or private debt and buy Bitcoin. If you can't raise money, then you just got to work very, very hard and get lucky. And it's hard. And you'll see a Zuckerberg on occasion. You'll see some breakthroughs. But, you know, it's like, it's not easy. And so my recommended strategy is not work yourself to death. My recommended strategy is notice that there are $450 billion of capital in bonds and real estate and traditional 20th century assets. There's 1 trillion. So there's 450 trillion in those things. There's 1 trillion in Bitcoin. You should be the conduit to move the next $1 trillion from the old world to the new world. And the way you do it is by raising money with issuing securities to buy Bitcoin. And you solve, what's the problem you solve? Custody it for them, buy it for them, take away the volatility, take away the downside risk, you know, and then solve the compliance issue. Chinese billionaires got to buy Bitcoin through a Shanghai ETF, otherwise he goes to jail. Right. That's the problem you solve. It's not as good as self-custody. It's not as good as the raw Bitcoin, but that's academic, because when you've got $10 billion and your choice is buy $1 billion this way or go to jail or don't buy any, the answer, the world is imperfect. That's why they call it earth, not heaven.
It's not optional. I mean, you will either move there or you will watch your wealth lose its value as the people who put their money there appreciate. You know, I mean, just think about it. You know, if you have $1 million and you put them in a currency that's constantly depreciating, where somebody has $10,000 and puts them in a currency that's constantly appreciating, it's only a matter of time until they overtake you. And you know, people are not stupid. They will realize this and they will want to move forward. So when I talk about Bitcoin adoption, people think of it as being like, say, Apple iPhone adoption. You know, it's very nice and very cute, and then people will buy it. But I think that's not the model for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is more like gunpowder adoption. You know, if you think about it, did the French army have a choice whether they should adopt gunpowder or not? You know, did they decide, no, you know what, we like to keep it real with sticks and stones and swords, and we're not going to use gunpowder? If, you know, any army that decided to do this, it didn't matter, because then another army with gunpowder would come and take over France. So eventually everywhere in the world ended up with gunpowder, either because people adopted it or because it was used against them. And I think Bitcoin is like that. Bitcoin is like financial gunpowder. It's the safest way of sending money halfway around the world, the most secure way, and it's the hardest money that we've ever invented. So it's not something that is, you know, whether we should or want to, or whether people, you know, we try to win people over.
Go ahead.
They're using the grammar against you guys, right? So they know my quantum grammar system, right? Known it. So they know they don't have to perform in contract because they can manipulate the words into anything they want. Right. So they come in with might makes right because the citizens globally are not being able to define and claim their words. What we're doing a little bit different, as you know, instead of having this antagonistic vibe with the public safety officers out here, is we're coming in and when you get a claim of the life, we put people into postmaster groups on each continent. We have postmaster groups going all over the place, so that we teach them how to take more of a neutral position within this shipping containment of the transportation of movement. And so the transportations of movement get their authorization from their country's postal structure in a pyramid form. And I restructure that on a global level for the citizens of the world to be more of be what I call in the world, but not of the world. And So, these are things that I'm trying to share to the world. And as you can see, these are very difficult concepts for people to, number one, have the capacity to comprehend, because we're so geared to turn on our social engineering. And, I'm a part of it too, because I'm in social engineering as well, because I'm trying to share with people that we don't really need to do this, and really look at the grassroots of, undoing the genetically modified fields. And one of the really bad things that, unfortunately, that has happened in my creating the hermaphroditic system and being rated by the fumbling, bumbling idiots here in the States, the bad guys figured out what I was doing. And so they gave all the technology to Monsanto, and Monsanto bought all the stockpiles up around the world because nobody knew what it was. Nobody knew how to do anything with this stuff.
Right.
It was everybody's trash is what I was using. And so they Monsanto bought it all up around the world, and now they use the tech that I've created. And that's what's being used, of course, on these borders and stuff, is because I undid. It's not what I meant to do. I meant to create a shipping containment for accountability. But with the birth certificate system being gone and the borders being in fiction grammar under the postal guys, right? And when I took out the postal charters, do you think that there's borders anymore?
Well, I'm guessing not.
Oh, yeah, this is what it's not. I built a system for accountability, and so they used the tech against the people, shadow ban, and make sure I'm not on the airways so nobody actually comprehends, because you're a very comprehensive guy. You're tracking what I'm saying.
Daps, you were right all along.
About what, Money Sage?
Man, you name it. Back in 2015, when you were sharing Jordan Maxwell's findings about the occult secrets, by the way, as a clarification with our listeners, occult means hidden. But moving right along, pertaining to the courts, governments, educational systems, corporations, the Vatican Church, and more importantly about maritime and admiralty law, of what a straw man is, and of the birth certificate system. And if it wasn't for what you know now about the quantum-venue, you were right about Trump winning against that witch, Hillary Clinton. Thanks to people like her, we now have to call these things fake. The fake selection of 2016, now of 2024. Trump's first fake term was at the commencement of 2017 into 2021 year. But technically, there has never been another election or president since Bill Clinton at the commencement of the 2001 year. That blows my mind. What about you, listeners? Are you at all grasping this content? Don't be so broke, and you already know the rest.
Oh, okay, Money Sage. I see where you are going with this. And you know what? I will position this as the pinnacle. It is not about being right, at least not for me. The crucial comprehension of my findings is that looking for the correct closure is what it is about. And that should be the case for anyone. When I comprehend a sequence of facts, as I use raw data through my knowledge to dissect the content, I put it into sequential structure and performance for the correct data. To begin, my values are what keep me grounded. Thus, young teenage experiences and lessons growing up in Lawrence at the Lawrence Boys Club helped me to fortify my toughness. Like when we had the chance to be part of the ABA basketball camp culture at the Merrimack College, hosted by Bill Burke, God rest his soul, and the majority of the Boys Club staff and volunteers. That was a once in a lifetime where learning to play ball as one's whole entire body is sore and the heat is intolerable during the hottest month of any year can make you a tough cookie. As a sequence, those are the kind of lessons that one does not forget to build mental and physical toughness. As a consequence, my life decisions have been simple. Never easy, but of the foundation to always do the right thing no matter how hard. However, just like anyone else, I am far from being perfect, and I would never want to be. We still have to live a little. Just don't harm anyone, lie, steal, or become difficult to work with. Those kind of things. On the contrary, I have done little things here and there that are not so honorable, but those are habits about my human behavior that I am willing to test for the sake of learning more about who I am. See, it is society that creates rules, boundaries, morals, codes, and plenty of other social norms. They are not of nature, but we all are. And the more we learn about ourselves, the more we learn to respect certain rules those boundaries, morals, codes, and plenty of other social norms that we choose to honor. What we are facing today in all structures and systems about our global society is that those we chose to put in charge are in violation of these social norms for the greater good of men, women, and children.
Wow. Where do I even begin with you? You mentioned the Lawrence Boys Club, so not the Lawrence Boys and Girls Club?
That is correct. In my youth, the boys were quite masculine, rough, and rugged, and so the girls were kept separate from the boys. I'm sure there are many other reasons, but that's one that I can think of. However, my observation is that government tried for many decades emasculation for the longer plan of destroying families. That's topic for days that we won't get into.
And so you were a ball player, huh? Were you any good?
I believe so. Most of my peers were quite athletic, and we challenged each other every chance we played. One of my brothers and I were very active at going to play long Saturday ball at the boys club, where many of us ran full court games for hours, and if most of the players got tired before the club would close, we would break games down to 4-on-4, 3-on-3, or 2-on-2.
By the way, since you love the content, be sure to join, subscribe, tip me with the like button, and talk to me. Leave a comment for us to share with everyone.
When I attended Central Catholic High School, my freshman year, most of my peers from the club played together and we were undefeated. And during junior varsity, we lost only one game. We were that good. When it came to varsity, not all of us made the team, and I was one of the cutouts, but the cut didn't seem fair. Or perhaps that's how I would like to remember it. But Central Catholic had more than enough talent, so I'm sure making cuts was never easy for varsity level.
I think I would agree with you to say that we are facing turmoil in all structures and systems of our global society. How would you tie that into crypto? And do you see things getting better over a short period of time? Or over any period of time? Maybe longer even?
And that one is loaded. How this all ties into crypto is that we have a major money problem. With this nation alone, it is a culture of capitalism. Our systems, along with the developments of digital technology, have railed us to need money of the most basic needs of survival, especially in the urban areas of any venue territory. The former public servant partisans seem to have lost ground in sight of the greater good of the general public, and I can only imagine that it stems from pocketed money favors, quid pro quo. But that couldn't be the only thing. Nonetheless, the people are conditioned to think about money, but only in earning it through earned income, because very few people grasp the concept of starting a business or consigning their earned income. And since taxation is in place for the people who remain ignorant and voluntarily cooperate in funding a former corrupt government system, generational wealth is stolen from hard workers who only do as they are told and yet never pause to think or ask questions about what they think are obligations. Sad and true. It is financial larceny. Crypto starts with Bitcoin. But through my studies of the blockchain and choice coins, here is where dumb money gets a chance to position for rich gains. But more importantly, at a fraction of the native consignment.
Tell us more, Daps. You got this thing figured out, I see.
You're giving me too much credit, Money Sage. But check this out. I'll leave this with your audience, if they are smart enough to figure it out. I really love to use CoinGecko. You can create a profile, but be sure to use an encrypted email and a secure password for more significant reasons. But these are of the 4 I'm discussing with your audience today. 1. To create a personal market watch list. 2. To manage the buy and sell of one's choice coins transactions. 3. To know of the multiple exchanges of where to trade, meaning buy and sell. And 4. To factor percentage gains and losses of each crypto portfolio of each crypto boon. I say boon and not asset because as Set means no set. As set. Get it? There are many more functions with the use of the Crypto Collectors platform, or what you would call application. And the one thing to do with the Crypto Collectors platform is to search for the low cap gems by their trend. I watched your video on Trend Friends where you explain of this specific topic. You did a great job in explaining the several trends that have been catalysts of great gains before we entered into this bull cycle with Bitcoin. And those are the kinds of details your audience really need to pay attention to. And just remember, trends can change rapidly, but once you hear it, be ready to perform your crypto consigning on your command. So, as you can see, I have already created my account with a simple email and password. A simple email because I was not knowledgeable of beefing up my cybersecurity at the moment of joining CoinGecko's Crypto Collectors platform back when I created my profile. But I really encourage everyone to get this book. And it may mean to start everything over, but smart. The digital space is a candy shop for hackers and lurkers. Once you've done that, every time you come across a crypto project you seem to like because of its fundamentals, you'll want to tap on that little star to save that crypto as part of your watch list. And over time, your list will grow into a watch list of your crypto boom with great potential if you've done your homework. When doing a scan for each project, one of the things you want to look for is how many exchanges are they listed on. I have a personal rule that if projects are listed on a minimum of 5 trading platforms, then they are a pass in my book. 5 or more trading platforms translates to market visibility. The more, of course, the better. But make sure those trading platforms have strong viability and reputation. Now, what's great about CoinGecko is that once you plug in the initial data, the rest of the work is done for you. You can then view the performance of your choice coin in the green or in the red. Every transaction you add or subtract is calculated for you. And as you fiat cost leverage your way in, if that happens to be your strategy, because I usually bulk buy when numbers are low and I see massive upside potential, you can also view your choice coin average cost for each time you buy your choice coin. CoinGecko is a fantastic tool. It's great for beginners as much as it may be for seasoned investors. Super easy to use and quite convenient if you are active with your data input. Be smart and stay active. Here is the major backdrop as to why crypto has become a thing. Each and every one of you are bored with the conspiracies that the Federal Reserve, and I say former, is controlled by the ultra elite and can print money whenever they want. Well, what if I mentioned to you to say that tentacle government constructs like the Federal Reserve are disqualified? Like gone. A thing of the past. It is true. The Postmaster-General, Russell-J. Gould, had detected fraud on each of their charters and contracts, therefore disqualifying them.
So, be sure to visit my description at the bottom of each video. I have placed links to my favorite exchanges, wallets, and cold storage to help you consign your crypto boom. Those are your crypto assets. Remember to get your claim of the life. Man, it is so critical to make a claim on your flesh and blood and to be accountable for your body vessel and your purchasing power.
However, the majority of the general public doesn't really know this story or much about the Postmaster-General, Russell-J. Gould. For those of us who are in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency community, the prominent pseudonym concerning Bitcoin's nativity is Satoshi Nakamoto.
No one knows who or what that really is. He or it remains anonymous.
Get up, NSA created SHA-256, which is the algorithmic procedure behind Bitcoin. And everyone said, I'm crazy, I don't know what I'm talking about. Then I'm coming across Twitter, and here is a paper from 1996, and the paper was called How to Make a Mint, the Cryptography of Anonymous Electric Cash. This was written in 1996 by NSA. And you know, coincidentally, who the author of that 1996 paper about electronic cash, do you know who the author was? It was Tasoki Nakamoto. Doesn't that sound like Satoshi Nakamoto, who is the credited author for Bitcoin paper, which was in 2008?
But then we have David Wright, claiming that he is Satoshi.
At the very least, the Federal Reserve note fiat currency is disqualified by the Postmaster-General, Russell-J. Gold himself. As of the year of 2001, and here we are at the end of the year of 2024, 13 years later, and each and every one of you are still fighting for your favorite candidate during a selection sequence here. Bitcoin is about to absorb the global wealth, and the general public has no clue.
Pause right there, Debs. Audience members, this is the very reason why we started this channel. Be sure to view more of our content. Please, continue.
So I think that it is crucial that each of your audience members, boarding and onboarding members, do as you mentioned. Blockchain and Bitcoin is not where we are headed. In my view, it is simply a bridge for non-claimants to sustain purchasing power for until they can get a claim of the life, learn the mechanics, and become a free-moving sovereign with the capacity to think, with the knowledge.
And then that's when we will all know what factual money looks like.
The quantum-banking system is in place, but not open to the general public until after we clean up our planet of those bad actors that are being exposed.
Just take a look around you.
Welcome the quantum-venue and the correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar in the positive thinking and positive performance. Self-custody, your crypto. We are in a new era of money.
Bridging humanity into the now space. Everyone, thank you. Gratitude for taking the time, and don't be so broke you can't pay attention. Do me a favor and help me get this content out, and since you love it, be sure to leave comments, follow, subscribe. Thumbs up, hit the share link, and blast this good stuff to your world. I want the audience. Hello?